Welcome back to the NLC. We have Bifrost versus Singularity. For Singularity, it's about picking Pantheon. For Bifrost, though, it is really important if they want to fight for the first seed into the playoffs.
That's why Pantheon is not going to be picked. I think Singularity have to take this match very seriously.
Yes.
It means a lot for Bifrost.
What are you saying? Are you saying Pantheon is not a city's pick?
They had their chance. Instead of picking Malphite on Monday, they could have picked the Pantheon.
Okay.
It was a fine matchup, but I think right now,
but
because
either way,
Bifrost top 2 on the line, they really need to take this match seriously.
so I mean, for Bifrost, yeah, but I mean, if you're a Singularity player, obviously, you don't really have as much stakes in this match. So for them, of course, remember, we keep running this thing, saying for them it's about development.
It's the competitive integrity.
I mean, but at the end of the day, Singularity, they don't have a horse in that race, so if it happens, I'm not complaining.
I like what you're talking. Okay.
You guys are nuts.
I like the cut of your jib.
Bifrost, though, obviously looking for that first seed. That's something that we were not expecting. Let's be honest, when they have X7, JDXL, and all of a sudden Bifrost appears, wow, and tries to steal that first seed. It's really important for them. They're going to take away the shields out to begin.
How did they do that?
Like, really fast.
Damn,
I
that
got
was
you,
really
impressive, man.
That was
How did you do that?
A lot of training. I'm a voice actor.
God. That just reminds me of that one scene from Scott Pilgrim. It's like, how do you do that with your mouth? Caramel macchiato for Pilgrim.
I'm seeing something very weird, which is a Camille ban in the first rotation, and that could mean usually that maybe you're willing to first pick a Na. Now, I don't know how much, of course, Bifrost really value the Na on the tops of the map and how willing they would be to first pick it, especially if this is a Zeri ban right here. Then you've got the Jinx to go towards, then you've got the Volibear, the Hecarim. There's just a bunch of other picks that I find S++ tier. Don't tell Pantheon. Don't tell me Pantheon.
I don't.
Depends, Jana.
So
It's a Pantheon.
so the only thing about that, which is kind of weird, is that actually Pantheon's really good into Yuumi if they were going to play it. So
Yeah.
Anyway, what up? That was an old VCS support special. That's what they did all the time. But either way, Singularity choosing to take a lot of the dual champions away. They've taken out 2 of the sports which dual has succeeded the most on. Now the Hecarim's gone as well. So Bifrost are going to isn't as Goldball keeps calling it, an overloaded draft, and I really like that term. We do have the Zeri coming through. Pick of the litter for the AD carries here.
I'm still a little bit confused, honestly, that Zeri has gone through back-to-back, especially when it's in the hands of Odi. Do you know what Odi did on Monday on that Zeri? Do you know? But the fact that Yuumi was actually banned here, it feels like Singularity very happily left the Zeri open, and they're going to take 1 page out of the Nariki notebook, which is Zeri sort of works.
Still be top.
Zeri sort of works like an Ezreal. Locking in the Nautilus, putting down the ultimate means that it's a very easy follow-up to the backline. We saw the Kai'Sa in the previous game as well. Something like a Kai'Sa Nautilus could very easily reach the back where Zeri is. We see this...
Felios.
Never mind.
I mean...
You're getting hard-baited here. You're getting baited by Bifrost!
Bifrost!
So that's the thing. That would be the ultimate flex. See, if you're favored in this matchup, you know, you could... They're going to lock in the other shield, bro. It's Leona.
Okay, tell
Hey,
me...
can we
tell
have
me how it
Pantheon?
feels.
Pantheon at home.
Tell me how it feels.
Bad. It feels bad.
Yeah, welcome to the
I'm
club, man.
sad.
Welcome to the club, man.
Everybody's doing it.
Welcome to the club, man.
Everybody.
Everybody!
But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. If you pick Set, I'm also happy.
Okay.
Also,
Glad as
coming
well.
straight after this game, so stay
Gosh. Hey, okay,
Poppy is
either
good.
way,
Yeah.
so Singularity, they have locked in a lot of the champions, which, well, I mean, in terms of the bot lane, this is the bot lane they've had the most success on as well. Like, they've had some 2v2 kills with this. When you have the Graviton, you have another way to reach onto that Zeri. You're kind of talking about that with, not the Aphelios, but with the Nautilus. I can't remember which AD carry you're talking about with.
Kai'Sa.
Kai'Sa, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. I was trying to remember what other AD carries have been played today, rather than like the one of the 2. Either way,
What's in the box?
lots of ways to stop Zeri from just going to start freely roaming around these fights, around the edges, and then finding a way to eventually run everyone down. I think that Veigar ban is a very good shout because, again, Singularity, they have a couple of university players on them. A very famous university team in the UK scene used to play Poppy Veigar all the time. They've got half of that combo, not letting them have the other one to lock that in.
Ooh. What about Poppy and Nivea, though?
Poppy and Nivea could work.
Oh,
Make
that would be
walls out of
lovely.
thin air.
I wouldn't
Okay.
ever want to play that into Volibear Leona, who just
Yeah,
roam into
no,
your
me
lane and
neither,
kill
me
you,
neither,
but
yeah.
it would be very fun.
Ooh, the Gnar has actually been banned away here, so I'm thinking what other choices do you have in the top lane? We've seen a bunch of Aatrox, we've seen a bunch of Gragas, but the thing here is for me, what can reach the Zeri to make her life a hell? The Camille was one, and
Nocturne top. Nocturne top.
The Gangplank can very easily reach due to the ultimate range, of course, because now they've also banned the Gnar for the flanks, and I'm thinking Tatui has played a lot of Wukong this season as well. This could be something that can also forward with a teleport, maybe find a flank.
You can also switch the Poppy top if you want. Got that flex still. You could even afford to blind pick a mid laner here. Something like Orianna's fine. Victor's still pretty okay because when Zeri runs into a Victor, you just get one shot. So that would be a pretty okay set of champions to blind pick for that, and then you can leave
Victor
the flex up.
here either necessarily because it creates so much
that's one of the
around the Aphelios as well, right? I think it's the same thing.
Because the thing with the Victor is like Zeri goes into you and you get one shot. He just drops everything onto you, and
it's not even a skill shot. You can just cue her in the face. Yeah, point click, baby.
You still have the flex for the Poppy. You still don't know if this is a top, if this is a jungle. It's still flexed. There you go, the Yari into the mid lane. At least one of us gets the champion to be played in the mid lane.
Yeah, but
don't look at me, man. Don't look at me. I've been the victim number one here. Don't look at me.
You gave up. You gave up.
I gave up. Yeah.
A long time ago.
Okay. Wait. If this does not end up in Fury's hands, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It is
We've
Fury.
seen it before.
I 100% tell you this is Fury. He leaked it to me. He told me which skin he's going to play as well, so I know all about this.
See, the funny thing is, you get that on the other side.
Select.
Just saying.
The thing is, when Singularity played the AD they messaged me beforehand to ask what do you do with this. So we've both got power over the champ. See, one of them works and one of them is an AD
Finally.
Either way.
We've been talking about Fury and how huge he is at playmaking, how huge his Akali was last season and the plays he was able to put down on the map. And right now we get to experience it firsthand right before I jinx it.
They're going through.
This is painful. All three of my champions are being over, and none of them is going to be picked. No, don't do that.
Yeah, that's good.
Insult to injury. There you go. Lesson 101 is how to demoralize your broadcast crew. Look what you're doing. Look what you're doing to the poor guy.
I have feelings.
Not anymore, you don't.
I don't have any anymore. Like my heart has just ripped out my chest.
It's a cutthroat industry, this broadcast one.
Okay, but we get Fury in Akali. This is a good thing. For the first time in the split, finally we get to see him in an assassin, a real assassin, not Yari. And then on the other side, we have a way
these
to
fake
deal
ones.
with fake assassin. And then we have to the top side, Tryndamere versus the Graves.
Yeah, I mean, if Tryndamere gets ahead of the Graves, we know how that matchup goes. It is really, really dangerous for Bifrost. But, I mean, you have so much mobility on the side of Bifrost. You do have good CC to lock people down. It's going to be quite hard for Singularity to stand and fight, even though they outrange.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4 members on the side of Bifrost that like to dash, and Singularity, Pop, is holding that one button, that one main ability on his W that can ruin anyone who wants to dash away day. So, Pop, it's all on you, man.
That was the ability they actually took down X7 to begin with, and now Bifrost are looking for the first place if they can take this one and look for the defeat of X7 further down the day. Without further ado, I want to send it to the Summoner's Rift because I'm done with the champion select. Goldberg, initialize, save me.
Fliggums.
Listen here. No, all of you, listen here. You're sitting at this desk, okay? And if you want your champions to be played, have you thought about just picking a meta champ and play that in your games? You're all just playing Katarinas, Pantheons, Ari only just...
That's better. There we go. I've stopped him. We're over.
Listen.
Wait.
Just pick meta, and you'll have your champions.
All right, order on the desk. Get these analysts out of here. You okay, buddy? You calm down.
No. I mean, okay. I get it. He's heartbroken, but if they can't keep getting disappointed if their champions are bad, okay? Just play good champions, then you'll be happy.
You can't keep being disappointed if your champions are bad. Goldborg 2022.
You know what you're walking into. You know what you're picking. You know what you're trying to make work. Don't come and give me excuses afterwards.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, now that that's been established,
Yes.
maybe let's have a quick chat about this game, because I have a statement for you.
I actually got so weirded out when you muted me. I was like, wait, did production do that? I didn't really interpret that you were right in front of me pressing
There is, in
my
fact,
mute
a
button.
mute button so we can cough, and I may have utilized it. Anyway.
No, you used the talkback. I just ran it to production with that instead. I was just
That's even
screaming
better.
my producer
That's even better.
in the ear
Jasper, our
instead.
producer somewhere, is like, what on earth just happened?
Oh, guy, you caused that. I did not do that,
That's my
Jasper.
fault. You know
If you're listening, I don't want a pay cut. It's on initialize.
I see how it is. Look, it was to save the viewers. I sacrificed Jasper for the safety of all of you at home. Bifrost, looking for a little level 1 thing going on there. But before we go too much further, before minions and stuff spawn, I have a statement for you.
Go on.
Are Odie and Duel the best bot lane in the NLC?
First off, that's a question, not a
I know,
statement.
it's both, but yes, you're right. Okay, fine, you're right.
I think they've proven to be. I think that we have a lot of good bot lanes you could bring up as an example. I think Sing and Nata would be the closest one. The thing is, every time we watch the matchup of X7's bot lane and of Bifrost bot lane, I mean, Bifrost bot lane has actually come up ahead. I think it'll be difficult though, because I don't think X7 put themselves in a draft that facilitated, but I think for sure we're looking at a top 2 bot lane in our league, and Duel might just be the best support as well, yes.
Okay, well, with that in mind, this is going to be an interesting draft, considering that's the best bot lane in potentially the league here, because that's a Zeri, who is near permabanned around the world, and if you get a Zeri that gets to free fire, horrible things happen to you.
That's the thing, but usually with Zeri, the rough patch you want to get through is the laning phase. You don't really excel at that, which is why quite often we see it paired up with Enchanters, something that gives you that extra movement speed to play around with, the shielding, the survivability. But now you've paired it up with the Leona, which is quite an aggressor. So for Singularity, they kind of just need to wait around for when the weapons favor them as well on Singularity. Once you have that Gravitum and you have Pulp coming down towards the bot lane, Dragane, who will have the priority in the mid lane because he's playing the range into melee matchup, Odie's going to be under a lot of pressure. And I think that's what we're looking for in Singularity. We want to see them attack this Zeri pick, and on Bifrost, we want to see them get it through properly.
Okay, on paper, doable. In practice, we have got a situation where you have got some nameplates on, but we have potentially got 2 best bot laners in the damn league. We've hauled that out. Gulborg thinks it. I've definitely asked that question. I'm probably there with him as well, so that maybe complicates things a little bit. Stakes here, also incredibly important as C-Boy looking to see whether he can zone Tui off this tower. Will be spotted, and they're going to spin over the wall. Just chased away from his tower here at the level 3. C-Boy being a really obnoxious wrestling-themed volibear.
Yeah, he's got the time to be a nuisance at the moment, but he's sacrificing his own cam respawn timers about this. But I think he's fine without being a facilitator. Just look at him, C-Boy, you madman. Statui just got sewn away for 1.5 wave there. C-Boy can now go back into his own jungle, farm that up. And it kind of stabilizes the matchup a little bit, because there comes a point in this matchup where Tatooine will just be able to ghost and then run him down.
It's pretty awful. I mean, like, you can stay kind of okay until 2 items. After you got your Mortal Shield Bow and something like a Hull Break, after that you're just in so much trouble as bot side. Yepe gets engaged on, and now he might be in trouble. Has to try and get out of dodge. Heal popped. Flash forward from Duel. Never mind the matchup. They're just going to try and go for the solo kills themselves.
Yeah, so it's difficult if you get engaged on the Zeri, but if you stay untouched and just get to deal out auto attacks like that, yes, it's going to be way more beneficial for you. And Duel deciding to be that aggressor himself in the Leona. Now Pulp is around the area. Jungler was spotted top earlier, and therefore they know they can commit to a play like this.
No flash, no ignite, and it was only at the heal for Spiky, so this is definitely playable. Steadfast presence is down, so there's no way to get out that easy. Passive route comes through. Can they finish it off? Damage coming through to Spiky as they try to turn it around. Duel will go down to first blood. Now Odie needs to get out of dodge, but SNG punish the aggression from Bifrost bot lane.
But they still need to be careful. Spiky has the Gravitum, so Odie cannot get hit by that, but they managed to get out of dodge. Odie, he's going to be able to push in the bot side, which will land him a beneficial recall himself, but he did get that through mid lane. C-Boy coming around.
Can Dragani get out of danger? He's got no mana left, really, but does have enough movement speed and enough distance to stay safe. Loses a couple minions for that, but C-Boy just doing quite a lot to zone people away from their minion waves.
We just look bot real quick. What is Yepe's HP? I think he was just trying to hover the minion wave for them a little bit, and yeah, almost went down. Just trying to hold it. Oh, that W could have been deadly.
None of that quite coming through. Look where C-Boy is. He might be doing another another sort of tower zoning experience. He's done it top, he's done it mid. Thinking about doing it bot as well, but just hovering out of vision right now. You can see the ward in the tri-brush there behind the tower. And Odie and Duel, despite losing the kill, had the HP bar advantage and managed to get control of the wave, get an early tower plate here.
And not only that, they really want to be able to get a beneficial reset through, but they also feel like just getting that plate, getting that extra wave, they can do this because Jewel has the support item, so they won't be wasting time trying to shut down the cannon. Jewel's just going to be able to one-shot it. It's a normal wave for Odie, and just like that, beneficial reset, bot lane 101.
Absolutely. At least Spiky managed to back on enough gold for Noonquiver and Boots. You're okay with that as an Aphelios. That's a pretty okay first bat. So you get away with it. You kind of lose the CS advantage you had, but, you know, that's the way it is.
Okay, 2 versus 2 might happen here in the mid lane.
Ooh, nearly managed to make that one work with the dredge line. Can't quite make it happen, though. Hit onto the minion instead. Just going to back away there.
But this is where Fury start becoming scary. So in a mage matchup into Akali, there's really not a lot you can do as an Akali. It's all about surviving till 6. Once you reach that level 6 mark, though, that's where it starts becoming a bit dicey for the control mage in the mid
Professor
lane.
Heimerborglaf there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this matchup loads of times already, and I know it's a Fury Akali, so if Dragana is caught without a flash, or it gets forced out of him, or C-Boy's around the area, it might be a dicey situation. Drake has been started up. C-Boy can't look.
Be the turnaround though, trying to get in with Porp. So much damage on the C-Boy who goes down. In goes Fury though, gets one back. But can they keep treading into the Shroud? He goes, he needs to be able to perfectly execute his way out over the wall. He goes. Jungler for jungler traded.
Yeah, but look, top laner is moving as well. Shikari's actually coming in from the top side. I think it's just going to be too late there, but no jungler, as you said.
Yeah,
So let's have a look at it.
Do they have the burst? It's going to be pretty close. Shuriken
Send
comes
it
through. That will be taken out. Now Flash will be happy to get the passive through. Duel in trouble, but does have the Eclipse shield. Trying to get as much damage back as they can. And down he goes. Damn close, but Odie's the one who picks it up. Shikari's here. Smoke screen, end of the line. Spiky has got red and white though, so they need to be a little bit terrified. And they do pull away, despite my perhaps oxymoron. A little bit terrified, just terrified. A little bit hard to do.
But look what they get on the opposite side of the map. They get to Drake on Singularity, and now they get to push plates with Tatooine. That minion wave is huge. That's like 2 minion waves that Shikari gave up for that roam. Not really netting them anything. They got the kills in a 3 versus 3 situation either way. So let's have a look at the replay again to see how it really unfolded. I think C-Boy is getting caught off guard by the fact that his Q gets stopped by the Steadfast Presence. Because he's then grounded afterwards, he's actually not able to flash out. And then it becomes a little dicey situation. Odie picks up the kill, he's forced to flash out immediately though. And it's the extra exchange we get to see here where they get the Drake for Singularity, but then the 3v3 comes through. They know Shikari's moving, they can't take it. Odie gets another kill. And just like that, they forfeit it to back off. But once again, remember, Tatooine got so many resources on the top lane as well.
Shikari Pop goes for that as well, and that means there's a summoner advantage onto Tatooine's Tryndamere. That could get a little bit dangerous. You know what happens when you have the summoner discrepancy in that matchup? You can just get run down by Tryndamere. Keep your eyes on that, especially with where the wave is at right now. Shikari overshoves, and he could be in a dangerous position, but C-Boy, off the back of the resets, will get free time onto the Herald. Doesn't come in trade for any bot plates either.
And I love the fact that as soon as that Rift Herald was taken, we see pings on the minimap on the bot side turret. So Bifrost, they know exactly what the game plan is for this one. They want to slow push a bot side wave. They want to wait for C-Boy to come around, and they just want to get those plating down towards the bot side. 3 is all that's remained, really. And it should be an easy job for Bifrost to get that game plan going.
I think it is important at this point to widen the perspective here a little bit. Actually, is the moment I say that to he actually goes in to see whether we can get some decent trades down, but not too much more to write home about quite yet. And to broaden our perspective, as I'll bring it back to that, because of course Bifrost win this, and they can compete for first place in the regular season here in the NLC Spring. They need to tie with X7 and of course XL. So that means X7 will need to lose their match, which is not, of course, a guarantee, but if that does happen, a 3-way tiebreaker can occur, in which case Bifrost will end up first with the way things shake out, because they've got the head-to-head against X7, and they've got more wins later on in the split as well, so they end up sort of with the way it all cascades down, coming first. It would force XL into third. Does require, of course, a couple of things to go their way, but step 1 is getting the win here.
And let's have a look at what we talked about, though, because we had that bot line dive in our conversation just not too long ago. It's 2 plating, almost down to 2 plating. C-Boy around with the Rift Herald. Fury had first move from the mid lane. Dragana was forced to answer it, but now they're getting reset in mid. 3 versus 3 situation, as you're saying. Porb is around.
Keeper's Verdict can knock away people with the Rift Herald as well, actually, I believe, so you could potentially play that. Moonlight Vigil goes wide, and now C-Boy's on Vision. Duel's rooted in place with the Binding Eclipse, but what can happen for Odie, who's popped the Lightning Crash? Pop now trying to run away, still pretty damn squishy, does have Flash, does have Keeper's Verdict on cooldown, though, so can't start throwing that. Hopping forward is Odie, turning it around, though, getting rooted under tower, not quite going down, though, and the Stormbringer comes out, trading coming across as Fury perfectly executing to make this a huge win for Bifrost. 3 for 1, Herald comes in, it'll be first tower as well.
Oh yeah, Chaos Storm comes out, tries to trim the wave, can still look for it here.
Flare flashed away from by Dragane, but Bifrost pull off the dive. You called it out the moment the Herald came down, and they pull it off cleanly.
Yeah, and you know, you stopped Seri from getting away with all this gold injection, but you gave it to Fury instead, so it's like, I'm not too sure about that. Lose-lose situation.
My favorite. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but Bifrost, they work with their tempo nicely and they set up the play. It was quite a predictable play in itself. I think we all know what's going to happen here, but as soon as the Moonlight Vigil gets taken down in those flashes as well, production didn't even want to have a look at it. They saw the Moonlight Vigil and were like, cut away,
Look,
no longer.
It's the inclement weather, Volibear summoning down the storm, there's a lightning crash from Zeri, you know, all that electricity is causing some blackouts. It's a bit difficult. We'll sort it out.
Smoke screen from Graves.
Exactly, it's blinding us here as well. So it's just thematic. It's like method replays, you know, like method acting, but for replays.
Yeah, sure.
I tried.
Did you do method acting? You seem like the kind of person who would be into method acting.
Probably, but I've not.
Okay.
I just method cast instead.
Yeah, you know what,
Get into
that's
the
fair. That's a lot about adapting on the fly as well at times. Now, moving the map around once again with their pieces, they're still trying to facilitate this area, and with the tempo advantage once again, they can get some plating down. They can threaten a dive. It is a Tryndamere, but they also got the ability to shut down turrets once that ultimate comes back up again from C-Boy. But for now, I think Singularity, they're looking down towards the Drake instead after having spotted C-Boy on the top side.
Rotated Yepe to try and stop the shove in, but there'll be a couple more plates going towards Odie, who've doing that play as old as bot lane and turret plates has been a thing where you get the first turret and then you rotate top to try and get even more gold into the inventory of your AD carry.
But great rotations from Bifrost. They spot the Drake gets taken, and it's just thanks for the leash, suckers. Let's pick it up ourselves, and there you have it. Bifrost pick up their first Drake themselves.
So, called up mistakes here for Bifrost. You know, obviously compete for first. They need this win, etc., etc. But Singularity, Yepe put a little post up on Twitter. It's something he's mentioned in a few interviews as well. He has never beaten C-Boy in a professional game. He's played against him quite a few times and yet to get a win against him.
I've watched
so that's
them
the
play
stakes. I'm sure you
a
have.
lot of time, because back before I started out as well, I was casting national Danish leagues.
Of course.
It was C-Boy and Yepe that was the players back then as well. But Fury, let's have a look at it. What can you do? Fancy feet?
Bit of a dangerous position. Does manage to Shuriken flip away before something like a Steadfast Presence come back out. Takes it back in. Solar Flare on 3. That will be the Steadfast Presence blocking out a few people. It's just not enough. Spikey is eviscerated, torn to shreds by the frenzied Mauls. Perfectly execution is Yepe. How not quite dead yet. Just about avoiding a lot of turrets just coming through. Won't go for anything like a dredge line and does just about survive Fury.
Fury into that one a little bit with his skill usage, but either way, that's still a huge win. And Jewel, once again, proving why he's one of the best supports in our league. What a beautiful solar flare to set up his teammates. All the meanwhile, Odie have just been chilling on the top side, and he's just going to be picking up plates for himself.
Yep. There you go. Getting more plates doesn't have to be there when you've got plays like that. Duel, never mind. That's more like triple, really.
I tell you what, though, we were all talking a little bit about Fury as well here. I was once a coach. I was
Back in the day.
Yeah, and I was building a team. Back then, I had Fury tryouting for me in the mid lane position as well.
Did you accept him?
No, and you know what? That may be one of my biggest regrets to this day. Back then as well, had a decent run, 1 game away from European Masters. You know how it goes. Could have been better, but either way, yeah, Fury. I mean, he's just been great for such a long time as well. And finally, when we see him on Akali and these, what do you say, champions with agency for himself, that's where he really shines.
Very true. And actually, thinking about it, we've got a lot of former coaches on our analyst team. Between yourself, Trouble used to be one. Dramado, of course, used to be the coach of M&M. So quite a lot of you guys who had a little bit of experience in the backroom staff of various teams. And
Ashram used to be a former pro player as well.
Yeah. What does Nightmare?
So what did you and Nightmare do again?
What have I done?
You got a degree.
I've got a master's degree. I used to be a composer for games back in the day. Never mind that. We're going to see a composition of death in the river instead as Fury gets a 5th kill. Out as well he goes. Tatui is very angry, but Fury is furious. But all the while, Porp actually gets a double here. And look at the chakrams around Spiky. He's an absolute blender. And they just turn that around. So Odie does pick up Yepe to make this a little bit more of an even trade. And remember, Tatui without the ultimate is a lot more squishy. Fury still haunting the side here, maybe looking for another flank, but they're going to have to back away as Odie, thinking he can trade back in here. The range advantage plus that collateral damage nearly takes out Spiky as well as the Shroud comes out. A little more to write home about, but yes, it was an even trade in terms of kills, but it's Bifrost with the higher health bars in the shove in mid.
Yeah, and they also get the Rift Herald on Singularity, so I mean, it's not too bad for Singularity in that instance. Think they're going to be able to clear out the wave with Porp here?
They're hoping so. Teleport's going to come through. It's going to be pretty close.
Oh, no.
Not come through. That's so frustrating.
And that's great for Bifrost, opening up the mid lane like that. On the resets, though, if Porp wanted to be cheeky with it, could enable the Herald.
Moonshot comes through. Won't get too much more than that. I half wondered whether there'd be a Hex Flash over the wall, to be honest.
But with the resets timers now, you could be fast. Like, you could open Herald in the mid lane. You could open Herald on the bot side. Porp, though, he's farming camps right now. And they have tempo to work around with. Tatui, he's going to be pushing that. He's not going to be having any vision around him whatsoever. And this might end up costing him. Let's have a look at it.
Okay, still no ultimate available. He might just trade himself for this tower. I think
Yeah, why not? Objective bounties as well.
Yeah, that's a solar fan. I'm not sure he's going to get this. He's just going to get junked out. He's trying to heal out best he can. Not quite enough. We just get it. Okay, so at least you trade yourself there.
The turret was worth more gold than the kill itself.
Okay, so...
And it gave your team more. So, like, gold worthy, that is actually quite fine for Singularity. But, yeah, they still lose out on the rest of the map. No, they're actually pushing in on top side. Well, you know what? All in all, not bad Singularity.
I think that is one where you're probably okay with trading your life because, of course, you do get the shove in top. It costs a lot of members to come down. The mid lane turret had already fallen, so you're not losing that anytime soon. Dragana gets the top lane tower, so 2 towers for 1 kill. Easy.
Okay, and to dive deeper into this in a serious manner as well, this can become a close game. Yes, there is a lot of backline threat, a lot of dashes on Bifrost, but once again, Porp has that Poppy. One ability where he just buys time for Spiky, and Spiky gets to do what he does on Aphelios that's finally picked up his items. Well, that can be a dire situation because they are still quite squishy on Bifrost. You are building tank, but it's still... Carry being the Akali, Carry being the Seri. You can deal with the Graves afterwards. He's playing around with a lot of low range as well. So I definitely still feel like there's win conditions for Singularity in this game, but make no mistake, Bifrost, they are the one driving the game pace right now.
Call it out as well. This is Eclipse on Graves. Nothing like a Hull Breaker, nothing like the Immortal Shield Bow. Deciding against, playing for the lane against Tryndamere, looking more to add burst to his dive buddies, or of the Volibear and Fury. You kind of chunk out some health bars to allow easier executions for Fury. And honestly, with how many kills that have gone through onto Fury right now, pretty understandable. Herald doesn't get much more than a chunk on this top lane tier 2, though. I wonder whether a mid lane might have been a better call on it.
I mean, it's a setup play as well, but you're right. I mean, in the top side, if you have a split pusher like Tryndamere, there is something to go for. In the mid lane, it's a little bit of a dire situation because we never really see Singularity push up too far. Bifrost, but Seaboy might be caught here.
That'll be the Storm bringer over the wall. Seaboy, maybe just a dead boy actually here, as he's going to get hit by a Moonlight Vigil, rooted in place with a Binding Eclipse, and he goes down, and actually now, with the Gale Force and a massive amount of Rage, Fury isn't quite furious enough. No. Do you take this? Do you go back in?
Take it.
Surely you can't. Now what can you play out? He's got a perfect execution, trying to play out best he can. No flash now on Spiky. He goes forward with it. Duskwave not quite enough, but he will finally secure the kill, and Fury is shut down. The gold goes to Aphelios. Big win for Singularity over punishing the overextension to the jungle.
And honestly, a bit of a head scratcher from Seaboy. Just didn't have anything around him. Oh no.
Yep, he's done. Okay, well, you'll buy a bit of time, but nice response from Bifrost to punish the recall spacing of Yepe.
Yeah, and you know, we talked of Spiky as a threat once he finally picked up his items, but we've not talked about Odie moving into this mid game. He's now sitting on 2 items. Trinity Force, Hurricane rather, have been picked up as well. And that is going to be a scary Seri as well. Even Tryndamere with the slow, it can be a difficult situation. It's going to come down to that Nautilus ult. You need it to connect, and you need it to connect in a way where you still have the range to follow up afterwards on the CC.
Weather's certainly looking stormy on the rift between hurricanes in the form of Arunans. You've got lightning crashing down from Zeri. You've got Stormbringers from Volibear. You've got Chaos Storms from Dragane on the Victor. You know, it's a wonder that the Summoner's Rift here isn't a complete wasteland of storms and broken trees.
There's definitely a theme. That's for sure.
Gale Force as well. Look, it's all here.
Now, they can push in the mid lane here with Bifrost. They can move down towards the bot side, try and let Fury collapse this one. But all in all, it's not the best sieging or split pushing composition from Bifrost. They're really waiting for a great fight, and Odie might find it here.
Lightning crash from Odie, trying to turn this around though to Tui. Does get away for now, does not quite have ultimate, but Porp left out to dry, a little overeager from Singularity. Fury gets the Tryndamere with a gorgeous little 5-point strike. Tower is turned off as the Stormbreaker comes through. Double for Odie. Yepe goes down as well. That is so many kills going towards Odie and Fury. A double and a triple apiece.
Yeah, 20 seconds death time as Bifrost. They beeline back towards the Baron. They know they can go for a siege afterwards. They don't have to go for the inhibitors now. And just like that, no jungler alive. Bifrost was a single team fight. I was just about making the point that they can't go for the side lane win condition. They have to force a fight. And Odie out of nowhere just finds it, stacking up so much movement speed once again to the point where they can't keep track on him and they can't take him down.
And just that immediate flip on the slight overextension from Singularity, and they absolutely pull it off. Fury, what a pick off at the end of that. Great stuff to run down that mid lane. They dive up to the inhibitor turret, they get the Baron, and suddenly this game is a long, long way out of Singularity's reach.
But they still have to pick potential. They still have to team fighting to play around with if they're the ones setting up. But look at it this time around. Odie gets the stag before they really can come through. Yep is too scared to disengage because the TP advantage is showing. Well, it's not really an advantage. It's just the fact that Dragana is not really feeling himself here. And Tatooine, he's flashing away, but he's not activating his ultimate. And thus, just goes for the infamous perks play of forgetting to use it.
I think it only just came off cooldown. It was on slight cooldown before the
sure?
fight.
Okay.
Yeah, it absolutely was. So I think it was still just about on cooldown, which is what made it a little bit perplexing. He went forward onto Odie, all things said and done, actually. Gotta call it out as well. Slight mistake from my end. I said a double and a triple. It was just two doubles. As Duel might be a little bit punished here. Singularity trying to collapse. Seaboy on one side and Tatooine trying to get the wraparound on the other. It kind of didn't work out quite as well as they want. And Dire Rage does come through. And Volibear is dead. They've knocked out a few more, but Fury's gonna come into the backside. And the Assassin will take them all to the cleaners. Straight to the grave you go. Contract secured.
It looked good initially for Singularity. They popped away Odie. They got to take Seaboy down. They contested for the Drake. But either way, not much to get done in this situation. There's too many threats on the roster. 20-second death timers. Only Tatooine alive. Minion wave coming in after this caster minion as well. I think Bifrost, they should be able to end it here.
And with this, the dream of first place for Bifrost is alive. They will end this split 14-4.
Cut it back. We're not
quite
going there yet.
There yet.
Set it up. Not yet.
Pull it back as they decide against a shove in. They'll take the Hex Gates out. We'll get a replay.
They had us in the first half, but they opt for the safer play. Get the mid lane inhibitor. Get out with the Hex Gates, and there you have it. Once again, I mean, Seaboy's just getting really aggressive 1 versus 4. Seems like he wants to highlight plays himself as well, but I mean, it's all about Fury in this instance. There's so much damage. Shikari as well gone unnoticed, and as soon as that steadfast presence is down, it's just Fury with his mobility, styling on kids.
There's just so much burst damage, and you can see it now in the gold lead as well. That is about 7 and nearly 8,000 gold. As okay, well, goodbye. Fury now going to keep chasing on now with Spiky dead. Keeps going forward. Dragani, he's going to try and turn it around. Just go golden though, because he's got the stopwatch. Will he stay alive? Flash away. Porp's going in, trying to stop as many of those blocks as he can, or dashes as he can. Just so much turnaround damage. They can't kill the Akali, who's just going to keep going forwards. Yepe cut down with some more of those kukris, keeping forward, trying to see if they can get some mores. Stepping forward a little bit further is Dragana, who does at least get Duel. That's Porp throwing out the Keeper's Verdict, but it's immune with the Stormbringer. Baron and minions in base means that this time the shove to try and end is here. Teleport back is interrupted by a thundering smash. Fury looking for his 12th kill of the game, can try and chase down Dragane. Sky Splitter comes through to just continue to chase him. Shuriken flip forward. That's the 12th kill. All the while, Odie's still in the base, not going anywhere. Spiky's respawned. But I don't know if they can even hold on yet. They will eventually back off with the Baron falling away and not quite able to close it out again.
Not the victory just yet, but seemingly getting closer to it as Bifrost is just having some fun here. Joel stealing away the kill, and then Fury just, I mean, he's just doing Fury things on Akali here, really. There's not much to break down. Great flash to stop the puppy dash, keeping himself from getting stunned up against the wall. And I mean, once they're not able to connect to the CT, when he's able to just stack up the Riftmaker, have that Omnivam coming through as well, there's just not much to do about the situation.
Not at all, and then Duel tries to tank Ace out as much as he can, but there's just nothing you can do as a Leona in this situation. Dragane gets that one at least, but what a well-timed ult from C-Boy.
Yeah, I mean, becomes immune, can't get knocked back, and just like that, it's only the steadfast presence to stop Fury from diving in. Let's have a look at on how Shikari then actually dived. I'll predict it. Tatui auto-attacks him, and
times?
because he's in dying range,
Right.
then Tatui doesn't die until it's too late. Wow.
Man,
Really
too angry
difficult champion to
die.
break down, that Tryndamere one.
That's quite impressive, really, to get so angry you literally immune to death.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't tried it myself, but
Are you capable of that level of anger, do you think?
I mean, is this an experiment where we try? I'm
Well,
definitely
what
not.
do I need to do to get you this?
I never get tilted. I genuinely never get
What
tilted.
do I need to say? I think Sweden is better than Denmark. And Denmark's kind of the worst of the Nordic countries.
You know what? That's subjective, and you're allowed to your own opinion, even if you're wrong.
Well, I'm going to give this one up for now. We'll have to think about it. Throw me some lines on Twitter. See what we can do to White Gold World Cup. As Dragane is dead, never mind throwing any lines to him because he's not going to go anywhere. He's going down hook, line, and sinker. And a 5-point strike will secure a few more. A legendary Carly picks up a few more. Full team wipe, Nexus exposed, and Bifrost put this one to bed. 14 and 4, a minimum of third place secured, and first place still on the line.
And that's all gonna come down to X7 later. Destiny still in X7's hands. Out of Bifrost now. All they're praying for is a loss on their end, but they get Singularity to no one's surprise. I feel like Singularity is a team that definitely started off with a rough patch, had substitutions, but towards the end of the split, honestly, quite fun to watch, quite fun to engage with their players as well. Great personalities for a lot of them, but it will be Bifrost moving ahead on this one.
And a big game coming up. XL, all pressure on them. They need that win if they want to compete for second. This will be up after the interviews and after this break.
Bifrost keeps the hope alive for that first seed into playoffs. They did all they could throughout the splits to take it away from X7, and they're well positioned after a really good victory versus Singularity. After teasing me in Champion Select. I don't know what is happening, but I'm getting teased in Champion Select. Regardless of that, we do have some interviews to do, where we're going to start with Bifrost, with Fury, who played Akali for the first time. Welcome, Fury. Finally, we got to see the Akali. Was it your idea?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I promised you as well, right? So, I mean, it was a decent Akali game. It wasn't the fully best, but I saw the matchup. It's pretty good for me, and I'm confident on Akali, so yeah, I went for it.
You're confident. That's the way to say it. 13 kills with the Akali first game of the split for you. Was this like your spicy pick of the split, or you wanted to play with something more spicy?
Well, I mean, this was like last year. It was my best champion,
Yes.
and I still think it's my best champion right now. So, I mean, maybe there's something more spicy in playoffs. We will see.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was prophesying about that. Like, me and Trouble were constantly talking about Fury Akali, and then we finally get to see it. Curiously enough, you brought in the Conqueror and not the Fleet Footwork. I thought you were going to bring the Fleet Footwork versus Victor, since it's a range matchup, a way to approach him as well. Why the Conqueror?
Well, I don't think you need the fleet anymore in the matchup. You have D-Shield, Second Wind. I think that's enough regen. And since he went D-Ring, at some point he had no mana, and the wave was bouncing towards him, so he cannot really push it back, and I was just chilling. So I think fleet is not really needed anymore.
Okay, interesting. Now looking into this split, Bifrost, you guys are looking for first seed to take it away from X7. Was this something that you were hoping, or you were comfortable and secure? You thought it was going to happen, or it's just happening?
I would say it's more it is happening. I would say like our split overall right now has been decent. I think the last few weeks for sure has been pretty good. I think in the beginning we had like a lot of games that we took away from enemies, but I think it's not anymore that right now. So I mean, we will see now if X7 loses and XL, like we can get first place. So we just need to see what the night brings.
What would be the team that you would want to play more in this best of 5 scenario playoffs?
I mean, I need to go with XL, of course, because it's my old coach Torok, and they beat us 2 times. So I still need to get my revenge on those guys.
So it's most about revenge, and in the best of 5, you can beat him like 5 times in a row if you play it properly. So yeah, that's a big revenge. Just to finish it up and wrap it up, why are you joining the Singularity tease of Pantheon? Can you come on, give it to me?
Now, me and Seaboy he was talking about the Pantheon Hover, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do it as well to tease. But then I picked Akali for you, so I think you're happy. I hope you're happy with it.
You know what? I am. I actually am. Just the over, I'm fine with it, because the champion is not in a good position, and I wanted to see the Akali, man. It was a pleasure. It was a movie, man. I'll give you that. It was a movie. So keep playing Assassins. You're the mid laner for the Assassins, man. Congratulations on the entire split, and I'll see you in playoffs, Fury. Thank you so much for this interview.
See ya.
See ya. There you go. Everybody is doing it. I don't know. I know Pantheon is not in a good position right now, but come on, man. My heart can't take it. Now, looking into the other side, it is Singularity. I have the pleasure to talk with Pop, was the jungler. It was a rough game for them, also a rough split for them. They went 11 games without a victory and finally got themselves a hold of the first. They end the entire split with 2 victories, but with the performance a little bit different from the beginning. And I know Pop is ready for me in the interview. Hello, Pop. Welcome back.
Hi there.
Why the over in Pantheon? Why you guys are doing this to me? Why? Can you explain what is happening behind the curtain?
Yeah, I will say there's a lot of tension between Hepe and the coaching staff, which is only one person, I guess. So on picking Pantheon, we're trying to figure out ways how to do it, but we couldn't mastermind it in time.
Makes sense. Doesn't matter, man. Okay, wrapping up the entire split, Pop. Can you give me like a summary of what you think the split was for you and for your team? How did you feel about the split?
Yeah. For me personally, I think just being here is a really big opportunity as a player. Just because I always try to seek out the highest competition I can play at, and like playing against some great names and getting my ass whooped in front of a few thousand people is always a great pleasure. I think I was able to learn a lot. And although it might not seem that way, I feel like I did improve over the course of the split, and my teammates as well. I think the most like symbolic moments was we're 13,000 gold down in the game right now, and we're 2-15 in the split, and people are still talking about how to win the game while our Nexus is open. So I think we got really lucky with the personalities on this team, with how much people want to win no matter what it means, and want to improve at all costs. Especially with Dragain kind of joining a sinking ship of a team, and giving us that chance to kind of redevelop and get some wins on the board. Even though obviously we would have wanted more, but that's for next split.
There's a silver lining in my eyes for Singularity, where when I'm talking with other teams, you can feel that the mental state is not in a good position. When I talk with you guys feel comfortable. It seems like the team, okay, we lost the split. Who cares? We got a good team now. We feel comfortable with each other. We feel like we're on a good path. And I feel like Singularity is looking for more the summer than looking at the split right now. I think you guys are really focused in the summer split. Is that right?
For sure. I think depending on how things go, because obviously nothing's locked in for next splits, at least player-wise, even coaching-wise. At least I think some of our later performances in the splits are worthy of us being kind of in the middle pack of teams. And once we get that consistency down, I can easily see us making a run for playoffs, or at least contesting teams, being a bit more competitive. And that's kind of just what we're aiming at, taking one step at a time.
It's a good sight to behold. I'll give you this. Looking into Singularity now, from the beginning of the split, it is really good to watch you guys play and to talk with you after the game. Now, I want to know something. I heard about this, but I don't know if this is true. I've heard that in the Champion Select, there's one player who is muted due to the mutinity of a Pantheon pick. Is this real? Is Yeppe muted during the Champion Select?
He's it's not even a mute anymore. It's kind of like how if you live next to a crowded street, you don't hear the traffic anymore. That's kind of what Hepe like calling for Pantheon is like.
Okay, I just wanted to know this one because it hits home, it hits home. I know the champion is not a good position right now. Who knows in the future? Who knows? He's a bad champion right now. Okay, is that any last words you would like to say to the fans of Singularity, to the people who cheered for you guys, or even for your teammates as well?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't praise my teammates enough for trying their hardest all the way until the last day of the split, even though we've been out of playoffs since like week 5 or whatever. But also just, I think all of our friends kind of just like slug through our games, even our worst ones, and watch them all the way through, even partially through. I think like we have a lot of support, and I think we appreciate that all across the board. Even from, I think the broadcast is really generous with giving us kind of dynamic storylines, and yeah, we really appreciate those players, obviously. So thank you for everything.
I would say that you are the soul of Schmiegel, I know. And it was a pleasure to get to meet Singularity and to see Singularity. As you told us, it was a sinking ship, but I think it's fixed. And I would like to see where you guys are going to sail and cruise in Summer Split. Thank you so much for all this, Pop.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
See ya. There you go. Last words from Singularity in this split. They're no longer capable of going to playoffs. They ended last, but ended with a smile, and they know Summer Split is going to be quite different. Now, third game of the week. It's going to be Riddle versus JDXL. If JDXL drop the ball on this one, they might end up in third place. And that is a sight to behold. Riddle might play spoilers for this one, and this could be the first game of playoffs. So many ifs. And I'll see you soon after this break, so don't go anywhere.